11 people missed. So this is intermediate difficulty. So 11 people. So this is not easy questions, it seems to me. But this is not that difficult. Why? Because it is a constant growth 6% and flotation cost. And you have to differentiate between flotation cost and flotation premium, right? So, Jacob, your face is still not shown. Okay, it's pretty strange. Yeah, it's just on and off.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So then what? Flotation premium is different from flotation cost, right? Flotation premium is return on equity, but return on equity using just when you issue new stock, right? But you have to use DCF method minus return on equity when you use retained earnings. So this is the only way, because CAPM method and bond yield plus risk premium method, you cannot incorporate flotation cost. Only DCF way incorporate. So we have to calculate DCF way of calculating cost of equity. That is what? That is, you have D0, $3, times 1 plus G, 1.06, over P0, 3.30. But you have to incorporate flotation cost. So we have to 30 times, flotation cost is given as percentage, so 30 times 1 minus 0.1 plus 0.06, right? Then 3 times 1.06, 3.18. Let's store that at 1. Then 30, but that's easy. 30 times 0.9. 1 minus 0.1 is 0.9. So 30 times 0.9 is 27. So just this one divided by 27. 0.12 plus 0.06. 0.18, but that's not, right? Times 100. And what? 17.78%. Then without flotation cost, 3 times 1.06 and just 30, right? Without flotation cost, plus 0.06. Then 3 times 1.06 divided by 30, 111 plus 0.06. 17 times 100, 16.60. So flotation premium is 17.78 minus 16.60 is what, 1.18%. It says that if it is 1.23%, just enter 1.23, so it's 1.18. 1.18. So 11 people missed. So it seems to me that FIN 404 people are working harder than FIN 304 because, and also they have just like knowledge about finance already. So a lot better than FIN 304. So only 11 people missed. Actually, only because this one is not that easy. So.
Hey, Professor.
Yep.
Is there any way that you can like can we see what if we got the point for the quiz or not after the time, or do you not want that?
Well, one more time. See what?
like after the quiz, it never shows us our score. We don't know if we got it correct or not. Is there any way for us to know, or do you not want us to know if we got the point for it or not?
So
I think, Professor, he's just saying that like you made it not visible, like the previous test. Like we just.
So usually when the entire class is, yeah, because I don't think you can see it right away because everybody else is still attempting. So when everybody else is done is when we're able to see our scores.
Yeah. So you have to wait. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Big participation. You have to wait until the quiz is over. Yeah, then you can see whether you got correct or not. You cannot get it right away. But when the quiz is over for whole class, then you can see your score. Yeah.
The two previous quizzes though, we haven't been able to see our scores. That's what he was referring to.
Yeah, currently now you are unable to see the score.
It says not permitted. Like it won't show us our score after the time. It's after 4:40 p.m. It used to show us, the previous quizzes used to show us our score, but these recent quizzes haven't shown us our score afterwards.
That's pretty strange. I'll check. Okay, I'll check. Showing, so you can see your score. Show score. I thought I show score, but if not, okay, just let me know. Okay. So I'll so I'll check this one with you. Okay. Thank you for good suggestion. Next, let's continue our lecture. So last class, we used MBA formula, and according to this MBA formula, if this OP minus WACC times CR over 1 plus G, so if OP is higher, then what? MBA will be higher. And so WACC is low, so it's minus, so WACC is low, and MBA will be higher. And capital requirement is low, then what? You subtract low numbers, so it will be higher, right? So that's what this means, right? WACC is low, OP increases, CR decreases, but G is not clear because G actually affects everything. G affects WACC, G affects operating profitability, and G affects capital requirement, right? So, you know, that is not clear because G affects everything. So how much G affects OP or WACC or CR affects the whole sign of this square bracket. So the second bracket can be either positive or negative, depending on the relative size of profitability. This one, OP. Operating profitability, right? So that is NOPAT over sales, right? Operating profitability. And capital requirement, that is operating capital over sales, right? And required return by investors. Profitability is this one, capital requirement, this one, and required return is this one. And then 1 plus G is here. So just if you look at this one, then if G is big, then CR becomes smaller, so MBA should be high, right? Just first looking at, but problem is G affects everything, okay, OP, WACC, and CR. So that's not actually clear. That's not clear. So you can write down this one like this way. That is NOPAT over sales minus, I think you can write this way, WACC divided by 1 plus G, right? So you put 1 plus G here. And capital requirement is actually operating capital over sales like this, right? Same, I didn't do anything, just rewrite. Then here, you see that the NOPAT over sales minus capital requirement times WACC over 1 plus G. And again, this G affects everything. So it's not clear actually. So like this. Then what? So it's multiple choice question. The NBA will increase, and if I say like OP increase, WACC decrease, CR decrease, that's correct. But if I say G increase, right? G increase, then what? That's wrong because it depends. It depends, okay? Because G affects everything. So that's why. So I'll give you some example too. So if the bracket is negative, then growth decreases MBA, right? If this is negative, this square bracket is negative, then you will see that this MBA formula, this one, MBA formula, sales times 1 plus G over WACC minus G is positive. So if this is negative, then MBA is negative. The bigger G makes, bigger G means what? Sales big and WACC minus G, this one even more positive. Then positive times negative is negative, right? So more negative. So that is the problem. So in that case, if G is higher than what? Profit are not enough to offset the return on investor and return on capital required by investors. But if the second bracket is positive, then you can make MBA higher by higher growth, right? So that is what, so I'll give you example for that later, but be careful. Many people make mistake in the exam, like multiple choice conceptual. So MBA will increase if G increase. That's wrong, right? Sometimes that's correct, sometimes that's wrong. So that's wrong, that's wrong. It has to be correct all the time, then it's correct, right? So next concept, expected return on invested capital. So there's a ROIC, but it's expected, ERIC. Then expected return on invested capital is the NOPAT expected next period, divided by the amount of operating capital that is currently. So the difference is that ROIC is what? NOPAT T over OCT, right? But EROICT is NOPAT T plus 1. That is what? You have expect return is like you have some one, at least one period to calculate expect return. So you need next year's NOPAT, right? So given this knowledge, expected ROIC, then we can rewrite MVA formula this way. So MVA is NOPAT T 1 plus G minus OCT times WACC over. This is from previous slides, right? Slides. or this one. This one, right? This is slide 30, okay? So this is not new thing. So this is from slide 30. So it's from slide 30. Then what? Then numerator, you take OCT out. Then what? OCT out. Then OCT over OCT is 1. So the same thing, right? No pet T times plus G. But you take OCT out, so OCT times WAC like this, right? Denominator is the same. And if you look at this one, no pet T times 1 plus G is nothing more than no pet T plus 1. That is no pet T times 1 plus G is no pet T plus 1. Then what? Suddenly, this one, no pet T plus 1 over operating capital T, that is ERYC, right? So we can write MBA formula simply this way. OCT times ERYC minus WAC over WAC minus. So this is maybe more intuitive. That is what. Now look at this. There is no 1 plus G here. Why? Don't forget, WAC is like return, so it's just one period, right? And ERYC, same thing. It's a return, expect return. So 1 plus G is gone because both are the same terms now, same concept. For you to calculate return, you need a period, right? So now with ERYC and WAC, there is no 1 plus G here, not anymore, right? But if you use like this, you divide WAC by 1 plus G. Why? OP is not no pet T plus 1 over sales T. It's just no pet T over sales T. So there's no period involved. That's why you divide by 1 plus G, some concept, right? But this one, ERYC, is like one period is already involved. So if you use this way, then what? So 1 plus G is gone. So, and this is more, as I say, intuitive, because if the spread between expect return, that is ERYC, and required return is WAC, if this is positive, then MVA is positive, and growth makes MVA larger. And the opposite is true if the spread is negative. Then what? Then MVA is negative and growth make negative, even more negative, right? So it's worse, it's not good. So that is just either original formula or with this new formula that makes sense. Return has to be higher than cost. Pretty simple idea, right? So now let's use some example, numerical example, to see how growth affect MBA, okay? So let's say a company has 2 divisions and both have current sales of 1,000 and current expect growth 5% and WAC of 10%. This is the same, but division A has high profitability, operating profitability 6%, but high capital requirement 78%. Division B has low profitability, only 4%, but low capital requirement, 27%. In this case, let's say this is just one example, right? Then what is the impact on MVA if growth goes from 5 to 6%? So now you increase growth, right? So then what? Originally, so those numbers are given 6%, 78%, right? 6%, 78%. Division B, 4%, 27%. Why we have two numbers? Because what? One is growth rate 5%, and the other one is growth rate 6%. Same with, so this left-hand side, right? This is current case, 5% growth. And right-hand side is 6% growth. Look at this. NVA was negative. If you grow more, then what? It's more negative, right? It's not good. And this one, NVA is positive. So if you grow, you have more NVA. So in that case, division V, increased growth rate is good because it increased NVA. But division A, increase your growth rate to 6%, then what? It makes your NVA even more negative. So growth is not good. So the point here is that before you grow, you have to make sure that your profitability is more than your cost, right? That's extremely important. But if you just say that our NVA is negative, so let's grow more, right? That's wrong. That's wrong. Okay, the very, very important lesson. Then what? Then how to get those numbers? Those numbers are just simply, from the formula that we see, this one, right? OP minus WACC over 1 plus G over capital requirement times, right? This one. So let's do just this one. Then OP is 0.06. So 0.06 minus WACC is given here 10%, right? So 0.1. And growth 1.05. 1 plus G is 1.05. Times capital requirement 78%, like this, right? Then we have like 0.1 divided by 1.05, 0.10, right? And times 0.78, 0.07 minus 0.06, and 0.01, but it is 0.06 minus that one. So this is negative, right? I subtract left from right. So, right, that is negative. Then you have to, MBA is what? So this is only what? Right-hand side. So for MBA, you have to multiply sales times 1 plus G over WACC minus G, right? So this one has to be, this is in front of this, right? This one times this one. So that is, we need more information. Sales 1,000, right? So 1,000 times 1.05 over WACC is 0.1 minus 0.05. And that is 1,000 times 1.05, 1050 divided by 0.05, 21,000. That times this one, did I store the 3 point, not this one. Oh, sorry, I didn't store it, so I'll have to do it one more time. 0.1 divided by 1.05 times 0.78, 0.07 minus 0.6. Oops, something's wrong. Sorry. 0.1 divided by 1.05, 0.10 times 0.78, 0.07 minus 0.06, 0.01. This is not 0.1, as you know, there is more decimals. So this one times 21,000, right? 300. So that's how you get this 300. But that is negative 300, right? Because 0.06 minus 0.07 is negative 0.01, right? So this is this. And so 21,000 times 0.01, but that was not 0.01, so that's why, I mean 0.1, so that's why it is 300, right? So please check those numbers, right? And those numbers too. So I just show you this number, 300, but you can check those numbers at home for fun. Just plug in numbers, and instead of 1.05, you just use 1.06 right here, 1.06, right? So here, instead of 1.05 is 1.06. Instead of here 1.05, you use 1.06. Instead of G 0.05 is 0.06, right? Then what? Then you can get all those numbers, right? So now, so you please verify those numbers at home. So it is negative. So if you grow more negative, right? Positive is good. So now if we calculate expected ROIC and MBA, then what? Then division A, capital 0, 780. How do you know this number? Anybody?
Is it the 78% growth or under CR on the previous slide? Under division A?
Division A. 78% or what?
1,000?
Check. Because capital requirements OC over sales, right? So that means 78%, division A is 78% is what? Sales times 0.78, 780. Division B, capital 27%, so 27. Growth, this is just, so this is, again, current situation, right? We are doing the same thing using different formula. Now, sales one is what? 1,000 times 1.05, right? 1,000 times 1.05. And notepad 1. How would you get notepad 63? Anybody? Notepad 1? How did you get 63? You have to pay attention, you know. Just active participation. Yeah, don't just passive listening, but active participation. Where did you get 63? Maybe I have to show you this one, this table may help. Anybody? Yeah, that is from here. Operating profitability is NOPAT over sales, right? So everything is really related. You know, there's 6%. So NOPAT is 6% of sales. That's what? We know that NOPAT is 60, right? So from here, we know that NOPAT 1 is NOPAT 0 times 1 plus G, right? And now NOPAT 0 is 60 times 1.05. And that is why it's 63. So all the other numbers, same thing, right? Then EROIC is what? EROIC is NOPAT 1 over capital 0. Yeah. NOPAT 1 over sales, right? NOPAT 1 over sales. So, NOPAT 1 over operating capital. Yeah, not sales, operating capital. So, 63 over 780. So let's check. 63 over 780. 0.08. So don't forget to multiply 100. 8.08 more accurately by 8.1. So we know that EROIC is 8.08%, right? And all the other numbers, again, you can check. Then how would you get this 300 from this table? Anybody? How do you get 300 from this table? That is actually using this one. OCT times EROIC minus WACC over WACC minus G. So this 300 is OCT, that is 780 times EROIC, more precisely 8.08. So that is it. Percentage should be in the formula 0.08, more precisely, minus WACC 0.1 over WACC minus 0.05, right? So 8.08 divided by 100, right? This one minus 0.1 times 780 equals minus 15. Divided by 0.1 minus 0.05 is 0.05. Minus 300. That's how you get this one. So we use two data sets. This one using this formula, right? So this formula is from, for your later study, this formula is from this one, slide number 34. Right? So you should be able to do it just easily. So this is from slide number 34.
Professor, where did you get the 8.1%? I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, thanks for asking. So
Yeah.
that means some of you also have same question. So EROIC formula is
Is NOPAT divided OC?
NOPAT T plus 1. Don't forget T plus 1, not T, over operating capital 0, right? 1 period lag. So NOPAT, so actually this one, T plus 1 is 1, right? Because you are starting from 0. So T is 0. So T plus 1 is just 1. So NOPAT 1 over OC 0. NOPAT 1 is 63, right? OC 0 is 780. That is 8.08%. So this is good class. Please ask any question The numbers are not clear. Yeah.
Professor, going back to the previous slide when you're talking about MVA, can we assume that if there's a growth, like a positive growth, that the MVA is going to go, so like in the first division A, it's a negative 300. If there's a positive growth, are we assuming, or can it be assumed that there's going to be a further decline in MVA?
Yeah, if you grow more, if you increase your growth rate, then what? Your MVA even go down further.
Gotcha.
So it's not, yeah, that's not a good, yeah, that's good. Thank you for summarizing. Yeah, that's what it means. And then this one.
Professor?
Yeah.
For this MVA calculations, I see that you multiplied 780 by 0.080. Where is that 0.080 came from?
Oh, that is this one, 8.08%.
It's a whack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, because I should put this one 8.08. So maybe I'll just correct later. Let me check, because I just write more accurate number. This one should be 8.08%. I'll change it later. So yeah, so more precise. So it is 0.081, but I try to be more accurate, 0.0808. Actually, I didn't enter those number myself, but that's why I recommend you to use number from the screen directly. So then you don't lose any decimals, right? So you get 300 exactly, right? But if you do like this 0.0808 minus 0.1 equal minus 1 times 780 equal this one, and divide by 0.05. Look at this. It's not 300, 299.52, right? So even this one is not accurate, right? So that's why when you use this one, like 63 over 780 equals 0.08, right? Just use this one directly, not enter 0.08 yourself or 0.0808 yourself. Just this one, right? If you use this one, just minus 0.1, then you are not losing any decimals, right? Times 780, right? Divided by 0.05, then you get exactly 300. So please carry those decimals as far as possible until the final answer, right? So then you'll get 300 like this. Then this one is from this formula. That is from slide 42. We use this formula, right? So this one is from slide number 42. Yeah, so that this formula is. So,
Professor, so when
Yeah.
I have a question. When do we use which one?
I showed you two ways. So depends on numbers. You can just do both, right? If you just know only this way, and then but if I show you this number, you may not do that, right? So what I'm saying is, you can just get MVA, so just in many different ways. So maybe information may be given, and if you know only this way, then what? You may, if I give you just if I don't give you some numbers on this one, then you may not be able to solve it. If I give you only like ERYC and NOPAT number, right? Let's say, right? Then you should use this formula to get MVA. Of course, if you know every number, then any way is fine, right? But I just show you when the data is limited, whatever reason is, if you know both ways, then you can calculate MVA easily, right? Any other question? So the point here is that the final conclusion. Point here is that the expected ROIC of division A is less than the WACC. So that means what? MVA will be negative. In that case, they should postpone growth efforts until it improves EROIC by reducing capital requirements, for example, like reducing inventory or improving profitability. So that is strategic management, financial manager's responsibility, right? So you have like a negative MVA, and many people say, we have a negative MVA, so let's grow more. In that case, you have to say that if we grow, we'll be more negative. So let's just improve just our operation. So financial managers say that we have to, let's say, reduce capital requirement. Let's say reducing inventory, or we just have more, for example, like account receivable should be smaller, or account payable should be higher, whatever, right? So you have, and also we have to improve profit margin, whatever. So those things first before you grow. But expected ROIC of division B is greater than WACC, so the company has positive MVA, then they can continue with these growth plans. Then what? They get higher MVA, so you can grow, right? So the statement that growth make MVA bigger is not right. That is correct only when current operation is profitable, right? So that's a good lesson. So using valuation model to manage financially more just profitability. Yeah. So that's the end of chapter 10, chapter 10. So your homework due, chapter, is it
11.
chapter 11? Yeah, chapter 11. Chapter 11 homework due next to Thursday. It is probably 4/8, right? 4/8. So I have to post just to change numbers today. Okay, change numbers. Okay, and then just a very important chapter, chapter 12, because what? The manager's goal is what? Manager's goal is maximizing stock price, or maximizing shareholder wealth, or maximizing firm value. To do that, you have to invest just correctly, right? That is what? Capital budgeting. That is what? You have to choose the project correctly, right? You have to choose value maximizing project, okay? Not just more investment, as you see from chapter 11. More investment means more growth may not give you higher profit or higher stock price. So it is extremely important. So maybe this is the backbone of corporate finance. How to choose project so that you can maximize stock price. It's a very, very important chapter. So we did it 3 or 4, but we did payback, but we didn't do discounted payback. And we did NVA IRR, but didn't MIRR. And profitability index. And how about unequal lives? How about economic life? And finally, this conclusion, optimal capital budget. So capital budget, the bigger is not always better, okay? There is optimal capital budget that maximizes your profit and your stock price. So let's just think about this project. And we did a payback period already. So let me ask you. So this is both are 3-year project, and L means long, S is short. Because same size, it's not large and small, but long and short. But same period. Why is long? Because what? You have big cash flow in the long run, and this one, big cash flow in the short run. So that's why. So if there is no time value of money, which project would you choose?
L,
Hell, why?
because the cash flows over the 3 years get you closer to what you originally invested.
Because it's
Okay.
growing.
Oh, but actually, just the answer is correct, but reasoning is problematic.
Participating though, Professor.
What?
I'm
Please.
participating though.
Participating, yeah, that's important. Yeah, wrong answer is better than no answer. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good participation. So, by the way, okay. So don't like okay, don't yeah. So share screen again. So actually, I told you that I think you missed what I said. If there is no time value of money, which one would you like? No time value of money. No time value of money. Project L, why?
150 is more than 140.
Check. It's a good answer. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, just you have to pay attention to my statement. If there is no time value of money, then distant cash flow is same as early cash flow. No time value of money, no interest. No time value of money means no interest. So present value and future value, no difference. Then what? You add them up, 10, 60, 80, 150. This one, 120, 140. So $10 more, it is better. But as you know, there is time value of money, there is interest, the cost of capital. So that's why it's not that easy. But since we did payback period, let me check. What is payback period of L? What is payback period of L? Anybody? Try to remember. Try to remember. I think you forgot.
375.
Time pay over 100.
One by one. So what did you say?
I had 2.375.
2.5?
2.375.
2.375. Check. Great. You have good memory. Good. So that is, don't forget that payback period, the assumption is that this $10 is not the end of the year. This $10 is occurring evenly throughout the year. The $6, same thing. $80, same thing. So we have to understand the assumption. If this cash flow occurs at the end of the year, payback period of L is what? 3 years, right? It takes 3 years. But payback period assumes that this $10 occurs evenly throughout the year. Same thing. So for you to payback period means how long will it take for you to get your money back, right? Payback. So your investment is 100 to recover $100. First year 10, second year 70. So it took 2 full years. So you recover 70, then 100 minus 70 is 30, right? And divide by, it will take whole year to get $80. So total 80. So 30 over 80. So what? 2.375. Then what? Then this one, 2.375. Okay, 2 plus. Then payback period of S is, as you know, payback period of S is you recover 70, so only $30 left. So 1 whole year plus 100 minus 70 is same thing. 70 is 30, and divide by now year 2 is 50. So what? Only 1.6 years. So if you use payback period rule, then you have to choose which one.
S.
Check S. The shorter the better, right? You want to get your money soon, and think about liquidity, right? You want to get your money soon rather than later. So S is your choice. If what? If important is what? If two projects are mutually exclusive, that means what? You can choose only one. But so your answer is correct if project L and S are mutually exclusive. But if project L and S are independent, it depends on your what? Cutoff period, right? So let me think about this one. So this one, the calculation is easy, right? So you have to know strengths and weaknesses of payback period rule. Strength is what? Easy to calculate and understand. Pretty easy, right? Just how long will it take to get your money back? And also, the longer the payback, the higher the uncertainty, right? Uncertainty means what? Risk. So provides an indication of project's risk, and also liquidity is definitely, because the shorter the payback period, the more liquid, right? So good indication of project's risk and liquidity. Very good. This is better than this one these days. Why? Because of technology. The most difficult one, like IRR, is now just a matter of seconds, maybe even faster than this one, right? So this one is less attractive these days, but still this one is still very important. So it gives you the risk and liquidity of the project. But sometimes that is more important than and net present value or IRR. I'll talk about that later. And then what? The weakness is what? Ignores the time value of money. It's pretty primitive. And cutoff period, this is what I'm saying, cutoff period. That is what? That is arbitrary decision like period. That means what? So for your management, from your experience, for example, you say that I'll take all the projects. So this is like take all the projects with payback period, PBP, payback period, is less than or equal to cutoff COP, cutoff period, cutoff COP. Something like that. That means what? Let's say if you make your cutoff period 3 years, then what? If payback period is 4 years, you reject it because that's too long, right? Decision criterion is pretty simple. So if the project gives you money, let's say before cutoff period, then you take it. If not, you reject it. So payback period is specific to each project, right? If you have 10 projects, maybe all 10 projects have different payback period, right? But cutoff period is one for the company, your decision, your company. So you think that, I'll take just 5 years. Okay, more than 5 years is too risky. So I'll take 5 years as cutoff period. Then what? Any projects that has payback period less than or equal to 5 years, you take it. If not, you reject it. It's pretty simple, right? Then what? Then that the weakness is ignores cash flows occurring after the payback period. Actually, this one is more like payback period or cutoff period, same thing. Payback period or cutoff period. That is what. Let's say you have a 10-year project, and then you have year 10, you have just multi-million dollars. But what? But your cutoff period is 5 years, you just ignore that, right? Then what? You have built-in bias against long-term projects. So you tend to take short-term projects. Even though long-term project is very profitable, you just reject it. So that's not good. So that is the bias against long-term projects, bias for short-term projects, right? So that's not good. So that is basically payback period, pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Then we can improve this weakness, time value of money, right? So next topic is discounted payback. So rather than just raw numbers like 10, 60, 80, you use present value of this cash flow, this discount cash flow. For example, rather than 10, you get 9.09. How did you get 9.09?
Is a discount from 10% from 10?
Check. So it's just simply 10 divided by 1.1. And this one is what? 60 divided by what?
1.1 squared.
Check. 1.1 squared. And this one is what? 80 divided by 1.1 cubed. So you need just one more step. That is what? Converting all future cash flows into present value. Time value of money is included here, right? So this one is an improvement over just simple payback. So without discounted name, discounted payback, when we say payback, that means what? Simple payback. I don't say simple payback, right? Just payback period. Payback period is just simple payback period. But if it is discounted payback period, then what? I have to mention in the exam or quizzes, I have to say, what is the discounted payback? Without that, if I say, what is the payback? And there's just simple payback, right? Without time value money. So this is not difficult, right? All you have to do is just you take one more step, that is change cash flow into present value. That's it. Then what? Then apply same technique to those present values. So for example, the project L, right? 3-year project, and you have 3 present values. Then what? Actually, you recover 9.09 and 49.59, right? So simply original investment 100 minus 9.09 minus 49.59. Then what? 41.32. 4132 is left, and you have 60.11 available year 3. So divide by that, there are 2.69 years. So this is better than simple payback because what this one takes time value money into account. But this is not actually accurate, right? And there is some inconsistency. That is what? When you calculate present value, what? You assume that cash flow is at the end of the year, right? At the end of the first year, at the end of the first year. But when you calculate payback period, discounted payback period, you assume that those cash flows occurs evenly throughout the year, especially third year, right? Third year. This 60.11, when you calculate 60.11, you assume that cash flow is at the end of the year, 80. So that's why 80 divided by 1.1 cubed, right? But when you calculate discounted payback period, you just divide 4132 by 60.11. That means what? Assumption is 60.11 occurs evenly throughout the year, right? That's pretty inconsistent, right? So that's why this is not still very scientific, but slight improvement over simple payback, right? So this one, and believe it or not, this is more difficult in the exam than simple payback. So you need to practice. Concept is not difficult. All you have to do is change just raw cash flows into present values like this, right? And then apply payback period rule. Pretty easy. But I don't know why people just, why this one is more difficult than simple payback, right? Just practice.
Professor?
Yep.
How did we calculate negative 90.91 and 41.32? Can you explain that, please?
Oh, good question. Good question. Because you just look at this. Maybe I'll just show. You put negative here, right? Negative. So the negative means your investment, right? Then you recover $100. So minus means you have to recover, right? Then what? Then it's like this, actually. 100 negative, right? And then what? Then you recovered 9.09. So plus 9.09. Then what? Negative 90.91, right? Then what? Still you have to recover, right? Because it's negative, right? So the next year you recover 49.59. So you add plus 49.59. Then what? Minus 40, still negative, right? So you have to recover. But now you compare this, how much you recover with how much you generate next year. Now this one is bigger. So now you know that it won't take the whole year. So as you know, this is negative means what? This negative means you will take whole year. So the first year, second year, that's why it's 2, right? So negative is whole year. And what? Now it's positive means what? You recover more than enough. Then what? Then that year, it should not be whole year, but what? Fraction of year. So you recover 41.92, but 60.11 is available. So what? So divide by that is 2.69 years. Okay. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Thank you. Okay, so that will help other students too. So as I said, discount payback has all the advantages and disadvantages of simple payback, except that it takes care of time value money, right? So that's good. So look at this one. What is the payback period? What is the payback period?
1.
1. Just you have minus 300 and 300, so just 1 year. Very short. Do you like this project?
No.
No? Good answer. Why?
Because it doesn't like generate any money, but beside that, it's losing interest.
Check. It's just you invest 300 and get 300, then what? No profit. So that's not good. But even though payback period is 1 year. So that is the problem, right? But if you use the discounted payback period and like a cost of capital is 10%, what is the discounted payback period? So payback period is 1 year, but the discounted payback period is what? What is discounted payback period? Pretty tricky. Anybody? So you have to understand what the discounted payback period is. So you have to do this way first, right?
So
I told you that.
So discounted payback period is less than 1 year. So
Less than 1 year?
yeah.
Why? Less than 1 year is better than 1 year, right?
I'm sorry. My mistake.
Yeah, wrong answer is better than no answer. See, participation. So, as I said, you need the step, one more step, that is what? You change this 300 into present value. So 300 over 1.1. So 300 over 1.1. 272.73. 272.73. Then it's like this.
So it's 1.1, right?
Huh? What did you say?
So the discount payback period is 1.1.
No. Good try. 272.73. So discounted payback period is what? Let's do as this one, this way, then what? Then minus 300. So 300 minus plus 272.73 minus 220. So we have minus 27.27. So it's negative. So 1 whole year plus, and when we see the next year, what is in next year? 0, right? Just normal cash flow. So you have to do this way, 27.27 divided by 0. There's nothing available. So if you divide any number by 0, what is that?
Infinity?
0.
No.
It's infinity?
Error.
But somebody said
Error.
correct? 0? No 0.
Infinity.
Infinity, check. Correct. As I said, if you divide 1 by 0.1 is what? 10. 1 divided by 0.01 is what? 100. 1 divided by 0.001 is 1,000. 1 divided by 0.0001 is what? 10,000. So as long as the denominator is getting smaller, the number become bigger. And it goes to zero, then what? It's infinity. So 1 plus infinity, that is what? Infinity. That is what? You can never get your money back. So payback period is infinity. So you reject the project, right? So according to the payback period rule, no time value of money. So the project looks very good, 1 year, very short. But if you use discount payback period, so discount payback period is what? Infinity. That means what? You cannot get your money back forever. So that's really bad project, right? So that is why discounted payback period is better than simple payback, just payback period, right? That is one improvement over payback period, but all the other, disadvantages are there. But this is slightly better than payback period. Okay. Then next topic, the famous net present value. Famous net present value. That is what? If you expand this formula, then what? T equals 0 is CF0 over 1 plus R to the 0 power is what? 1, so CF0 plus, if T equals 1, CF1 over 1 plus R plus CF2 over 1 plus R squared plus all the way up to CFN over 1 plus R to the nth power, like this, right? So net present value is nothing more than present value of all the cash flows, and then you add them up. So that means usually CF0 is negative, right? Because you have to, there's no free lunch in finance. You have to invest to get some cash flow. So minus plus cancel each other, so that if NPV is positive, then what? You are making money. So it's a good project. If NPV is negative, you are losing money. Is bad project, so you reject. How about if NPV is 0? Do you want to take the project or not?
Is it break even?
Actually, it's not actually break even, actually. Actually, NPV equals 0 means what?
I got it. Is the project is equal to the rate of return of the investor?
Check. The project gives you this WACC, R, because you discount future cash flow at R, so it's not just break even. You just generate profit. That is what? R. So net present value equals 0 means what? The project gives you the return, exactly the return you require. Then what? That's your requirement. So that project to satisfy your requirements, you have to take it, right? So that is net present value rule. See, the concept is that net present value 0 doesn't mean that there is no returns. Net present value equals 0 means the project gives you exactly the return you require, right? And we did it already in 304, so we don't take much time. So net present value calculation is what? You discount all the cash flows, as I said, like this, 1 by 1. So 10 divided by 1.1, 60 divided by 1.1 squared, 80 divided by 1.1 cubed. And then what? And then there is present value negative, so negative 100 plus 909 plus 49.59, 60.11, 18.79. And so that's the concept, but we know we can use our technology, right? So to save time, that is given. And then what is net present value of S for fun? Just for fun. So active participation, active participation, rather than passive watching.
I'm going with the 10%, right?
Yeah, 10%. Yeah, exactly. I have number here. What is it? No. Anybody? So while I wait, not to waste time, just
119 and 98.
Net present value. It's not present value. Net present value. So CF0. You don't forget CF0. CF0 is 100 negative, right? Usually we don't put CF0 at 0, right? But this is real life project. You have to invest, right? And C1 is 70. C2 is 50. And C3 is 20. Go to NPV. We assume 10%. 19.98. 19.98. So NPV of S is 19.98. So again, for our quiz will be after 10 minutes, 16:27. I mean, so 4:27. So please let me know if you remember. So then what? These two cases, we have to make sure that if they are, the two projects are independent, then what? Take both, because NPVs are greater than 0, greater or equal to 0. If they are mutually exclusive, then take what?
S.
Be bold.
The one with a higher internal rate of return.
Oh, we're talking about net present value calculation. Yeah, this is 404, so you know IR, but we are doing net present value according to net present value calculation. Take what? Take which one?
Project X, S.
Check. Why?
Is the net present value of S is greater than L?
Bingo. Check. So just mutually exclusive, you take higher net present value projects. So take S because net present value of S is greater than net present value L. So be careful, right? So be careful about the wording in the exam or quiz. If I say, if two projects are independent, what's your decision? No, take both, right? Both are positive. But if they are mutually exclusive, then what? You take only one. But don't forget that mutually exclusive doesn't mean that you have to take one, right? The condition is what? NPV should be greater or equal to 0. If both have negative NPV, then what? The answer is what? The answer is reject both, right? Reject both. Don't take anyone. The bottom line is the project has to be profitable, right? So that is, net present value rule. And then, so we took lots of time in 304, but 404, so I assume that you know this already. So next one is what? Net present value is you enter interest rate and solve for net present value. Then what? IRR is when net present value is 0. So you have lots of NPV depends on R, right? NPV will go up if R is low. The R is high, NPV will be low, right? But there is one R that makes net present value 0, right? Then we call that IRR, internal rate of return, internal rate of return. So IRR is actually, believe it or not, return of the project, right? IRR. That's extremely important. So just in case you forget about IRR, it's like this. 0, 1. If you invest $100 and get 120, what is your return?
20%.
20%. Everybody knows that, right? 20 over 100 is 20%. So it's 20% return. And if I ask you, what is IRR? Then what is IRR? IRR.
$20?
Check. So actually, IRR is 20%. So internal rate of return is nothing more than return of the project. So let me verify. The formula is minus 100 plus 120 over 1 plus IRR is 0. I just choose a simple example to show you that IRR is nothing more than return of the project, right? Any return then makes net present, so this is net present value. Net present value equals CF0 plus C1 over 1 plus IRR is 0. Then what? Then we know from here, we know that 120 over 1 plus IRR is 100. So 120 is 100 times 1 plus IRR. And that is what? 100 plus 100 times IRR. Then move 100 the other side, then 20 is 100 times IRR. So from here, IRR is 20 over 100. And that is what? 20%. So IRR is nothing more than the return of the project. So that's why you want to choose high IRR project, because high IRR means what? The project has high return. Then why we say that internal rate of return, right? Rather than just return of the project. The reason is internal rate of return is actually something inherent on the cash flow. So that to understand that one, I'll show you more examples later. But currently, just IRR is nothing more than return of the project. So this is just review of FIN 304. So I'll just don't want to spend lots of time, but that's it, right? Return of the project. IRR is nothing more than return of the project. Then how to calculate that? You know that already, right? So here, when we enter cash flow, right? C1, C2, this project L, right? Then for you to take, so once you enter those cash flow, then what? You hit IRR. Then what? Just compute 23.56%. So that is, so let me check. Cash flow is 100. This is project S, right? Project S. So project S. So IRR of S is, not this one, 23.56%. Then IRR of L is, to save time, what is it? I didn't calculate.
Professor, there's just 1 minute left.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just so I can do this one in 1 minute. So thank you. So it's,
yeah, I was gonna say, Professor, I got 18.13.
18.13. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's big participation. Yeah. So please check this one if you haven't done it. So thank you for letting me know. And then